Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Keep 'em Rolling, a channel primarily dedicated to preserving the memory of what the United States Armed Forces did during World War II. Now my goal for this channel is to share with all of you unique items from the collection, new acquisitions, to offer preservation tips, and to take all of you on the occasional outside collecting adventure. Now before we get started with this episode, I want to say that it's good to be back. I've had a little bit of a hiatus, if you will, from making videos. It's not due to me, not wanting to collect anymore or falling out of the love of collecting. No, in fact, I've been doing a lot of collecting and had a lot of fun. It's just life has stepped in. Right now, I'm in the process of training for, it's not really an ultra marathon, but in January, I'll be running 4 races back to back, which consist of a 5K on one day, which is roughly about 3 miles, a 10K on the second day, a half marathon, which is 13.2 miles, and on the third day, and then a full marathon of 26.1 miles on the 4th day, so almost 50 miles over the course of 4 days. And that has taken a lot of time out of my schedule for training, etc., etc. Also mix into that the holidays coming on, family stuff, getting the house winterized, and all that, and I just haven't had time for the videos, but that has changed. My training is on a downward slide at this moment. We're comfortably entrenched into the holiday season, so everything's going well, and it's given me a little bit of time now to begin shooting videos again. And this one's a little unique. I'm going to take you on a tour of an exhibit that I did at my local public library. It was a very fun exhibit. It was up for over a month, and well, I'll let the exhibit speak for itself. So once again, this is Steve with Keep 'em Rolling. Enjoy the show. Hey everyone, in this episode I want to share with you an exhibit I did at my local library. The exhibit ran roughly from the end of October through the beginning of December and was set up to commemorate Veterans Day. The library provided the display cases, so I had a secure place to display the items, and then I supplied the memorabilia, the stands, the glass heads, and all of the signage. And in this first part of the exhibit, I put on display my uncle-in-law's Vietnam gear. He was in country, and I've featured a few of these items in previous videos, but we have his jungle hat here, a jungle jacket, his jungle boots that he wore. And then the next shelf we have some of the things that he had in basic training, including his jacket, underwear, and boots. His duffel bag here in the bottom. And then we also have on display over here his dress uniform. And this was the uniform that he was given when he got out of the service. He basically wore it home. He told me that he wore it one time, and that was it before it went into the closet. So this thing is about as nice as you can imagine. In this part of the display, I wanted to create a timeline of United States Army helmets from World War I up through Korea. Now, I will focus on these helmets in more detail in later videos, but we're just going to kind of skim over them. On this shelf, we have World War I. And as we come down to the next shelf here with some memorabilia around it, we have the transitional helmet, the M1917A1. On this shelf, we have memorabilia attributed to one Meredith Clark, who was a local serviceman, served in the South Pacific. And on the bottom shelf, in this part of the display, we have a very unique and rare Hawley liner. In this part of the timeline, we have a M1 swivel bale. This is a mint unissued Schluter helmet. It's just the pot, no liner, but it's unissued. And I will feature this in some upcoming videos. On this shelf, we have a fixed bale McCord M1. And we have the field gear that a GI would be carrying while wearing that helmet. As we come down here, we have a Navy Talker helmet with the proper talking equipment, the can and the earphones. And then finally we end up with Korea. Here we have a swivel bale McCord front seam, but this helmet has been repainted in kind of that lighter green shade, which was typical of the Korean War, and we have some Korean War memorabilia around the helmet as well. In this case here, we have the memorabilia of one James A. Hart. James Hart was a mechanic in the United States Army Air Force. He was actually part of the 15th Army Air Force, and he took just a ton of photographs while he was overseas of people, of sights he saw, but also of the aircraft. You can see one here, this awesome nose art photograph right here. There are literally hundreds of photographs in his collection. Other items that he saved were travel things when he went on leave. We have hotel stickers here. This is from the Hotel Tiberius with a spoon that he took from the hotel, and then the Hotel Savoy, or the Savoy Hotel, and he liberated a fork from that hotel. Here we have a travel brochure for Casablanca. He also saved things like his ribbons, dog tags, and such. Just a lot of material. These were all given to me by his daughter. But along with that, next door we see these photographs here. Now these belong to, or are of, Donald Matvia. When we zoom in on this one here, you can see these two gentlemen. This is actually Donald and James. They were best friends, they were neighbors growing up, just lifelong buddies. James, he became a mechanic in the Air Force, while Donald, he became a pilot of a B-24 bomber, and unfortunately Donald's plane crashed into the Atlantic Ocean on a mission and he lost his life. Now, James never got rid of the photographs of his best friend. He always carried them all the way up until the day he died, or had them all the way up to the day he died. And his daughter told me that he wanted his friend's memory to never, ever be forgotten for what he did. And so it was an honor to be able to display both James' memorabilia here and be the caretaker of it now, and to also display Donald Matvia's material as well. We also have a news article here. Now, I'm going to step back and just show you, because the library, where these are on display, they actually helped me out a bit with some items. They blew up some pictures, so as we step out here, you can see we have these wonderful cutouts of James and Donald. And then over here we have a nice picture of James in his mechanic's gear. And then we have this picture on top, which is James while he's on leave. He's visiting the Sphinx and the Great Pyramids. And the library actually took it upon themselves to blow these up to help with the display. In this case, we see the memorabilia of one Richard Hart, who was a technician 4th grade. He was part of the 81st Infantry Division, also known as the Black Cat Division, as indicated by the black cats on their insignia. And Mr. Hart was a bandsman. He actually played saxophone. If we come over here, we can see a photo of him. He's in the front row there. There he is playing saxophone, front and center, and he also played bari sax, which you can see next to him there. The small grouping of memorabilia includes photographs of him. It includes his discharge with his insignia, including his year-and-a-half overseas, the 6 service stripes, currency that he brought back. There's a few other souvenirs. We also have the book on the Wildcat Division, the hardcover book, and we have his uniform insignia, which includes his ribbon bars, his Good Conduct Medal, his Combat Infantry badge. We also have his bandsman collar insignia. It's just a nice little grouping. The box in the back here was the box that everything came in, with the exception of a couple of the larger photographs and the book. These items were donated by his niece. Unfortunately, when he passed away, he had no family. They went to his niece, and then she felt that they should live on, so she gave them to me.
No box, huh?
In this display right here, this is probably one of the top 10 in my collection. This gentleman right here, we can zoom in on the sign here. He was a captain. He was in the 28th Marines, 5th Division, Pioneer Battalion, C Company, 3rd Platoon. He was infantry and a shore party officer. I actually became friends with this World War II Marine. He was the neatest guy that you could ever imagine. Just a fantastic guy. Humble beyond belief. And let me just say this. He was in on one of the earliest waves at Iwo Jima. And John Boy, if you're watching, I know that's one of your favorite battles, so I will be doing a separate video just on his memorabilia, because there is some cool stuff here. The blanket itself has one of the most incredible stories I have ever heard. So I will be sharing that with all of you. Now, in conclusion of this tour of this exhibit that I put on, I want to encourage all of you to go out and look at your local libraries, your local city halls, your senior centers, your community centers, and see what kind of display cases they have. Because in many of these places, the display cases, they simply sit empty because the people running them don't have any idea of what to put in them. And you could help alleviate that problem. Displaying your memorabilia, as long as it's in a protected environment, is really a three-way win. Number one, it shows veterans that they are appreciated, that their story is not going to be forgotten. Number two, it's a great way to share what you've collected. I love sharing the items that I have and their stories. And number three, people see that you appreciate this material, and a lot of times they want you to become the caretaker of their military memorabilia. So, as I said, it's a three-way win across the board. So check out these places and do a display. Take a risk. It is, I can't tell you how rewarding it is. It's absolutely incredible. Well, everyone, that concludes another episode of Keep 'em Rolling. Like if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it. If you don't like it, please leave me a comment, as do I, and feel free to leave me comments anyways. I'd love to talk with all of you and interact. This is why I do this. I'm going to try and do more videos here on a regular schedule. I can't promise anything until we at least get past the holidays once again with this big race coming up and so forth and so on. It's still dominating my time, but I've got a lot of cool things I want to share with you, including that collection devoted to the Iwo Jima Marine Corps veteran, my helmets, and other new things that have come into the collection. So once again, thanks for watching. This has been Steve, and remember everybody to keep 'em rolling.